Yo, what's going on, Guardians? Gray here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be going deep into the Shadebinder subclass for Warlocks. It's the new Stasis subclass. I'm sure you've seen it by now. I'm going to be talking about how I've been using it in PvP. I know it's insanely overtuned right now and extremely strong, but we can still talk about all of the different aspects of it and how they all come together, and maybe a couple build ideas and things like that. So if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like below and consider hitting that subscribe button for me. With that being said, let's dive straight into it and take a look at the subclass. So starting off, we still have our regular two rift abilities. We have the healing rift and the empowering rift. Typically in PvP, I always go with the healing rift. It provides some nice utility to keep you alive, gives you and your teammates an overshield while you're inside of it. But of course, you can use the empowering rift if you want to go for some cheesy 2-taps and some really strong kills. You can totally do that. Looking at the jump, we have our regular jumps as well. We don't have blink like we do on the void subclasses. We have burst glide, strafe glide, and balance glide. I prefer burst glide as it gives us the most mobility and momentum while moving around the map, but that's just my personal preference. The next thing we want to look at, and I'll show examples here, are the 3 stasis grenades, because they're very unique and they function differently than our other grenades on any of our other subclasses. First off, we're going to take a look at the Glacier grenade. This thing's really cool. It's the first one you're going to have unlocked by default. As you progress through the story and finish the campaign, you'll get a quest called Born in Darkness, and keep following that quest line and it will allow you to unlock all 3 of these grenades. But taking a look at this first one, this is going to allow you to throw out a sort of ice wall. It can allow you to shut down lanes. It can block someone who's chasing you. You can prevent someone from getting away. And if you throw it really precisely, you can actually trap people inside of it and shatter them for bonus damage. It's pretty awesome and offers a lot of outplay potential. You can use it to get some crazy angles for some snipes. You can shut down areas that people aren't expecting. It's a very strong grenade, but when we get the other 2 is where things start to get pretty insane. The next one you're going to unlock as you progress through the quest line is the Duskfield grenade. I'll show an example of it here. This thing's really cool. You throw it on the ground and it sets a big AoE on the ground. Anyone who's inside of it will take a small amount of damage and they'll be slowed. If they stay inside of it for too long, they'll eventually get frozen. And it's really nice for those big 6v6 game modes. If you're playing Control, you can throw it on a capture point, slow the whole team, potentially freeze them, and it can really offer a lot of utility if you can place it and use it right. The final grenade is the Cold Snap grenade, and this thing is absolutely insane. It's pretty overtuned. I expect it to get nerfed at some time in the future, but it sort of functions like a stasis version of our arc bolt grenades that we're used to. When you throw this on the ground, it's going to sort of scan the area, and anyone that's inside, it's going to send a trail of ice along the ground towards them. If it touches them in any way, they will instantly get frozen. It's actually insane. You can throw it around a corner, freeze someone, and the nice thing about freezing is that you get a marker on your screen. You can see that they are frozen, and you can go right around the corner and take them out. There's some nice combos we can get with some of our aspects and fragments with this, and we'll get into it later on in the video, so stick around for that. Next, we have our melee, the Penumbral Blast. This thing is probably the most broken thing about all of the new Stasis subclasses between Hunters, Titans, and Warlocks. This melee is OP. I assume it's going to get nerfed at some point, but it allows you to shoot sort of a stasis blast out of your staff, and if it hits anything, it will instantly freeze them. And it has a bit of an AoE radius. You can shoot it at their feet, and if they're within 2 or 3 meters, they will get frozen. Of course, if you get a direct hit, they'll get frozen as well, and then you can just run up and shatter them. It's absolutely insane, and I have a couple build ideas I'll show at the end of the video, so stick around for that. It'll allow you to take advantage of this as much as possible. The final thing in the subclass is the Super Winter's Wrath. This will allow you to summon a giant stasis staff. You look like frickin' Gandalf. It's really awesome, and it's gonna have 2 different attacks. Your light attack is gonna send out a barrage of little stasis bolts, sort of like your melee, and the right click, your heavy attack, will shatter anyone that's frozen. It's very, very strong, and it's going to last for a really long time. The shockwave will go around corners. It can go through walls. It's super strong. You should try it out. I'll show some gameplay here of it in the background. Moving on to our aspects. This is sort of an interesting thing. Right now in the game, we only have access to one aspect. It's sort of time gated right now. Once a week, you'll get a quest from the stranger that will allow you to unlock a new aspect. If you're playing Shadebinder in the first week of Beyond Light's release, you'll be able to unlock the Ice Flare Bolt's Stasis aspect. This thing, God, it's insane. It's absolutely nuts. You can see right here it says shattering a frozen target spawns seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. The tracking on this is insane. It can go up walls, around corners, and it goes a fairly long distance. When you think about how the melee works, how you can freeze people with our melee, you can freeze people with that cold snap grenade. When you shatter them and kill them, it'll chain to the next target and freeze them. I have just a clip. I'm actually using my super, but you can see it there as well. I freeze a target and kill him, and it goes along the ground and freezes another target. And it will just keep chaining. There's no limit to how many times you can do this. You can get some 7th columns. You can get some insane team kills using this aspect. It's insanely strong. Now, moving on to sort of the final part of these stasis subclasses is actually pretty interesting. We know about our aspects, but we also have little things called fragments. Each aspect that you equip has slots inside of it, and you will be able to equip a certain amount of fragments depending on which ones you're running. The fragments are also on sort of a weekly lockout. Right now you can unlock 2 of them every week. I don't know if that'll go up as the weeks go on, but currently you can unlock up to 2 of them, and you have to make a choice. I'll show the ones that are available here. We have the Whisper of Hedrons, which gives you a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis. The Whisper of Fissures, which gives you, it'll increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or a frozen target. It's not a bad one to have at all. We have the Whisper of Refraction, where defeating a slowed or frozen target grants you class ability energy. We have Whisper of Durance, which your slow effect from any of your abilities will last longer, and those abilities will linger. So basically that Duskfield grenade that slows everything, it'll last a lot longer. This also gives you plus 10 strength. A lot of these have pros and cons. You'll either get benefits to your stats, or it'll take away from your stats, depending on which one you decide to run. We also have Whisper of Bonds, where defeating frozen targets with weapons will grant you super energy. It's going to give you a minus to 10 intellect and discipline as well. So a little bit of a drawback, but you can get some really nice super generation as well. The final one that's available from the stranger is the Whisper of Shards, where shattering a stasis crystal will boost your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals will increase the duration of this benefit. So you can sort of chain that effect back to back, and that'll give you plus 10 resilience. Those are all the fragments we have access to right now. I'm sure there will probably be more, because it seems like we have a lot of slots available for those. I picked, for my first one, I picked the Whisper of Hedrons, being that when I freeze a target, I get that bonus to weapon damage. That's a really nice benefit inside of PvP, especially when we consider the subclass. We have a lot of opportunities to freeze people, and that's going to give us that bonus weapon damage all the time throughout our games. So I hope you guys are enjoying the gameplay in the background. I want to give a quick shout to a little build that I'm running with this that I think will make this subclass really pop off. Warlocks have access to the Claws of Ahamkara exotic gauntlets. This is a simple exotic that gives you an additional melee charge. So now we have 2 of those Penumbral Blast melee abilities, which means we can be freezing people left and right. It's very, very strong, and there's a couple things we can do to take it one step further. I am using the Radiant Light mod on this because with Beyond Light, now we can use all of those combat mods on our exotics, which is super nice. Radiant Light gives us plus 20 strength when you pair it with another arc mod anywhere on your gear. It doesn't have to be on the same piece anymore. So we can get a ton of bonus strength out of it. You can see the one I'm using right here actually has almost max strength. That's actually pretty crazy. I managed to max it out. I am also using Momentum Transfer, where causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. So it's allowing me to get my melees back very, very often. The other thing I am using on my class item is Outreach. It's just a simple mod, reduces melee cooldown whenever you use your class ability. So every time I use my Rift, I get a little bit of my melee cooldown back. Just a quick little thing you can sort of throw together in your build that's going to make this Stasis subclass really pop off inside of the Crucible. I don't have any of the new exotics yet. I have some crazy builds planned once I can get my hands on them. I need to get my light level up a little bit more so I can go do those legendary lost sectors. And as soon as I get them, I'll be sure to do a video on them. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the video. I just wanted to give an overview of the Stasis subclass, all the abilities we have, and maybe just a few exotic ideas, some build ideas so you can get slaying inside of the Crucible. There's going to be some insane build potential, and I'm assuming we're going to get more fragments and aspects as time goes on, so I'll be sure to cover those as well. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like below and consider smashing that subscribe button for me. It's a free way to support me here on the channel. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, be sure to follow the link down below and follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of nuanced news about Destiny on there. We post some funny memes, and it's a good way to keep in touch with me and joke around a little bit. Thank you guys again for stopping by the video. I appreciate your time. Good luck grinding and be on light. Take care.